and welcome to Let's Talk on the PARAUNITY Network. I'm Wendy. I'm co-owner of LSS, and I'm also co-owner of Road to Enlightenment. You'll have to bear with us tonight. We've had a few technical issues, to say the least.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Sorry for the technical issues tonight. So, we're basically here today because we were all out on our first ever investigation for a while, and any evidence that we have caught will be put up over the next few days.
yeah.
But right now, I'm going to let the others introduce themselves.
I'm Catherine.
Ladies
I'm
first.
co-manager of LSS USA and co-owner of Road to Enlightenment.
I'm Bob Sharp, and I'm a paranormal investigator and a little bit of a tech aficionado, I don't know, wizard or whatever you want to call it. Still a baby. Still call myself the baby, even at 56.
You're not the baby of the group now.
No, not anymore. No. Hey, I'm still young. I'm still young yet. Weirdly enough, that's something to get into actually in a bit. But yeah.
Yeah, we're good. I don't know what the noise is like inside, but
Yeah, I'll stay out here.
I mean, you don't have to. Christian was sleeping when we left, but I don't know
All right.
if he still sleeps.
Yeah, I'm just.
Don't forget to change if you do decide to come in.
So we went to Bolingbroke on Sunday night. Gosh, it seems a lifetime
Yeah,
ago
Sunday.
already.
It does. Yes, it does. I agree.
And basically, we got there first of all, and Will, the other techie, he was getting loads of SLS figures all over the site.
Yeah, really. Some of that's really not. No, I'm not saying that worked so well. To be honest with you, that was really good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And just the amount of stuff that we actually got,
Yeah,
was amazing.
it was. Yeah, some of the responses, and then obviously we've got a lot recorded, which we obviously could sort of edit and maybe mash up together for people to listen to. Because obviously, and I really thought about how we want to do this. I suppose we can. Should we talk about how it got started? I think. Do you want to? Which was straight away. there was no stopping it, was there?
No, I mean, from the very first moment, I knew where to place the cat balls, so to speak.
That was my first. Straight away, here and here. Yeah. Yeah.
And we then started asking questions. And there was no doubt that the lights were corresponding with our questions.
Yeah. Obviously. Sorry, go on, Wendy.
When you asked a question, it went on, and if you asked it to stop, it stopped.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel about how that sort of went, questioning wise, as to like responding to us all? Do you notice anything, or no? I recorded some of it and I've watched back over it, but I just wondered how you felt. If you can go back.
I felt that it was talking to me quite a lot.
Yeah, like I can.
I was going to ask that question. Did you notice that it was communicating with one person more so than the other?
Yeah, I could actually. I've got video evidence that Wendy was getting answers, and obviously I think you can hear on the video actually as we discussing like, is it the wind? Is there a bit of breeze? Is this, that, and the other and stuff? But no, there wasn't. And obviously later on, I do wish I had actually. Can't believe I forgot to do this. I think with everything that went on, I think I don't know about you, but I think it was quite draining after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to debunk it and can't believe I didn't actually video myself trying to debunk it. That was pretty terrible on my part because.
Yeah, but we did try to debunk it, but we just didn't catch it on camera. I don't think.
Which would have been useful because it's good evidence, isn't it? Because obviously where it was placed was on a, I think it would be like a sort of a, I don't know if Will will agree. I know because he doesn't like coming on camera. I think Will would agree with me. I think it was like a support section of wall, like we have support beams and I forgot the name of the structures where the wall was because of the area that goes down. I think it was that bit when the castle was obviously fully erect, whatever. That was a supporting column of brickwork that went up.
Yeah.
So I broke because I did look, and it wasn't steps or anything. It didn't look like steps, but obviously there's another bit in there. I don't know if anybody else heard the conversation, but we'll go into it later. But yeah, they were placed there, and I mean, they were obviously a great place. Now, whether something gave you an insight into where to put them, Wendy, I'll leave you to.
To be quite honest, it was just a feeling. It was like I got told, like my thought from spirit to put it there, and
as an observer, I got the impression that you was like guided without being guided. It was put it there, and it was a kind of weirdly enough, because I've just watched before my partner went to bed because she obviously gets up early. We watched a TV episode of a TV show, and they were jokingly on about where you put stuff in a living room and they couldn't decide where to put it. That kind of intuition. Do I put my settee here? Do I put my table here? It was almost like you had that. And just going back at, this is the thing about when we recorded stuff, looking back at it afterwards, there was almost that. And then you mentioned about it was there was something there. There was definitely, absolutely, definitely more to why the cat ball was put right where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see it on the the recording.
So Wendy, what type of questions did you ask the spirit, and how did it respond?
We asked. There was that many questions that night.
Yeah.
I asked it if it knew people in the group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I asked yes and no questions. Are you female? Are you male? All these type of generic questions. And then we asked it who it wanted to talk to. And it came back me and then Martin.
Yeah.
And I can see how difficult it must be for people that struggle like with spirit. If you're like a complete beginner and go there and you're open, I do think you would become overwhelmed very quickly. Because there's different layers. I mean, when I moved on to the site, it was more to do with, I could see it as it was, as the place was when it wasn't in ruins. And that to me was like, and I was seeing the people as well.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that.
And I also mentioned I also think I mentioned about if it was a certain thing.
Yeah.
So that was quite interesting, to be honest.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I never thought about it until afterwards or the next day. But when I don't think you used this phrase, but when I was going back over what was said and the way you was describing the area, you made it sound like, and I've somewhere else that I've been that I've had this. You made it. This is going to be a weird analogy, I think, but you made it sound like a bit like a marketplace, which the area would be because it had loads of visitors. You made it feel like it was there was a lot of people passing, or you got that feeling and stuff. Now I know what people's going to say. Anybody that's watching is going to say, well, it would feel like that. It's a castle, you know that anyway and stuff. But that's not the point, is it? Because obviously, at the time you said that, I think this is the problem with this. I don't think I can show you this on camera. If you remember, and I think this will come up very well, using the Seer app. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's actually a corridor. And as you said about all the people, I got that, and that was a corridor. And if you, yeah, I don't know if you see it very well, but
I can see it.
Yeah, but at the time, it's I'll have to try and I'll send you the pictures. I've obviously got it on the app. It's a corridor with lots of ways off it and stuff. Now, I didn't realise it until afterwards. I looked at the map of Bolingbroke Castle, and in actual fact, where we were stood, and straight down from us, where I'm not going to say it on the live, but you know where I walked off to later on, just for a
a minute.
refreshment. That is basically was the way in. That was where one of the ways in, and that would have been because you would have had a proper posh way in, and like sort of like a tradesman's entrance, and that came through. So that corridor idea is there because obviously these things when they work are not supposed to be specific, but I get the idea it was showing us the based on the comments that you said, and I mean I know you've not seen this and you didn't see this till I showed you it. But I got that idea, corridor, or a place with lots of ways off because there was lots of people about and things. And I got that next day. I thought to myself, yeah, you was pretty much describing like a marketplace of people because it wasn't just soldiers and everything else. And obviously,
no, there was a mixture of the people that we got.
Yeah.
Michaela Williams is asking where we investigated. Sorry. We should have mentioned it. We were at Bolingbroke Castle. But please, if you go there, be respectful.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's a very energetic place, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you see, on the surface, when you look at it, I get the feeling that it's very it looks like a very peaceful place, depending how you look at that one. But scenically, maybe.
Lovely.
Yeah, spiritually, or if that's the right word, I'm not so sure. I think it depends how open you are. Because obviously, let's face it, most visitors won't be, and most people are going to go, "Wow, I wonder if this place is haunted." Because that's what people say nowadays. But anybody I would have said,
yeah,
because let's face it, whatever was there knew very well what they were dealing with straight away. For it to just spark into life and everything, just start going like it was.
Yeah, and I think the thing that that was the strongest there was actually he deemed himself the protector of the castle.
Yeah.
And he was a pretty nasty person.
I'm assuming that was the gentleman that would didn't take a very nice liking to our Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't like me very much either. He thought I was just like.
Well, given the way you described, obviously you describe yourself, I don't think it took very nicely to you anyway, because you know, as you yourself and everything, as you hearing that as a spirit, they're probably going to think to themselves, "Oh, I'm not having that." You know, it's not a thing. It's blasphemy and this, that, and the other, and back, you know, less enlightened time, isn't it? So
I was always polite.
Yeah, you
I was
was
always polite.
absolutely, yeah.
But wow, it was definitely an eye opener.
It was the later on with the questionings. Obviously, when I attach because it works better when I attach my speaker to the Vox app, so we could listen to what was being said. I've had a few responses. I've had noise. I've had this, that, and the other. There's, I've had a listen over. A couple of them are a little bit, but there is very, very definitely answers. If you to stuff that was asked, do you know what I mean? You could hear them. You could hear us talking and saying the answers just after together and things like that. There's a very definite conversation going on there, and not just that, the noise, predominantly a man, and then the woman. And at one point, I need to snippet this bit. There's, honest to God, there is the man. A woman says something. He laughs. Oh, it sounds like a laugh. And then she says, they're having an argument with each other. They are absolutely having an argument. He's not happy that this lady, whoever it is, has jumped in, trying to talk to Wendy or Martin or maybe all of us. It's an incredible little bit. You know what I mean? I know some people's going to go, yeah, that you make it sound like that. But no, it's straight away. You could, I think actually you can hear me say that, Wendy. Go, oh my God, they're having an argument.
Yeah.
So
that was quite funny, actually.
Spirits that can't get on with each other, brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, Bob, did you get any like intuition, any feelings from the place itself without like the cat balls and?
Yeah. Going back over it, I'm trying to watch everything. Oh, not just the technical side of it and the gadgets that we got, and obviously we'll go in with different bits and the SLS camera and stuff, but trying to listen, and I don't mean listen to the voice, I mean listen. And there's a moment I never mentioned. I didn't mention it then. I didn't say anything on Sunday night. Purely because it's not something you can. I can't prove it, but if Wendy remembers, from the second time we did because obviously I'm jumping the gun here because we'll have to explain the bit that we did I forget what it's called now, the circle,
the human pendulum.
Yeah, the human pendulum. The second time I stayed out of it, didn't I? Just to have now there was a moment where you went to start doing it. And I was like, right, okay, I'm here, I'm all right. And then I looked to the side, and near the wall where the cat ball had been, or was, I was literally just about to say, oh, are you not doing it either? Because I thought Will was stood there. And then I realised he was all in the circle. And then I looked back, and there was nothing there. Now, I know for a fact I didn't see somebody stood there. I know somebody was stood there. You know that sense that you're you know when somebody's behind you and you go to step back. That feeling there was somebody there. I felt that was very powerful because I thought it was like at the woods. I thought it was Will, and I was about to say to Will, "Oh, are you going to do one while I do one thing while I do the other?" Then I realised, oh, fuck, it was four of you stood there. So, but yeah, that was the strongest thing I got.
We did the human pendulum.
Do you want to explain it, Wendy, what that is? Because anybody might not know it.
It's
Yeah, I myself
basically,
had to ask because I've never heard that, but she
it's
explained that to me.
basically
That's
where
pretty interesting.
it's basically where we all stand in a circle and we've got someone in the middle, and when you've got your pendulum hanging down, it will give you a yes or no answer. Yeah.
Mm.
So we ask it to show us yes with the person, and the energy will slightly tip them back or forward depending on the yes or no answer. So we decided we would let the new person, Rachel, stand in the energy. And I think she was quite amazed at the fact that she was getting these answers.
Yeah. She was quite, like usually when people first do it, she was quite laughy and jokey, but that soon went out the window.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing and joking anyway, even in the face of adversity. But yeah, I think she got a bit of a shock, which
Yeah.
I don't know this, Wendy, because I don't know the answer to this one. I don't know if you do, but obviously we had another gentleman with us whose name has just escaped me.
Claudio.
Who, sorry?
Claudio, our partner.
Well, yeah, that's it. I couldn't remember his name had gone. Now he's quite sceptical, but I got the feeling at the end he was a little bit less sceptical. But do you know? Have you had a conversation with Rachel about that? Because I wanted to ask before we was doing this, and I just haven't had the chance.
I think he's a little bit more understanding of what goes on,
Yeah,
and he's a little less skeptical about it, I think.
yeah,
But you'd have to ask Rachel. I like the fact that Rachel got to feel that energy,
yeah,
because that was only a little bit of the energy that was there.
yeah,
You could tell that Martin is a lot more open
yeah,
because he was getting definite answers.
yeah. Or I don't, whatever was there also, or whatever they did was what at least one did not like him, did it? Took offence to him completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the weirdest thing was that I had a bottle of juice at the side,
Yeah.
and we were all nowhere near this bottle.
No. It was about 6 feet away.
Yeah. And basically, you heard this almighty thump and a bang,
Mm.
and my juice was really fizzy, not just like it had fallen over
Yeah.
on
No.
its side.
It was thrust with some force. Yeah, absolutely. That went with it. But you know what? I didn't know, because I think was it a bottle of Coke?
Yeah, and it went all fizzy.
Yeah. Well, I've tried. I should have videoed. Do something else. Do you know what? I need to learn to write down a few things and go. Follow a system. I'll get there. A scheme of things. I did try replicating that in my garden with a bottle. I haven't got a bottle of juice, but we have got a bottle of I haven't got a pop. I've got a bottle of juice that's pretty much the same, a litre. I tried that. I cannot get that. What I'll do? I'll do that. I'll actually do it again and I'll video it for you. I can't get it to make that noise. It went with a thud. I honestly thought somebody had fallen off the wall. That's how much of a thud it was. And we're talking about a litre bottle of Coke, Kathleen.
That was just standing there. It wasn't on a wall. It wasn't on a wall. It was on the ground.
Yeah.
And
you can test that yourself anyway.
Yeah, I might actually.
Yeah.
But then I think it scared, or it startled, I will say, a few people.
I spun round and forgot to let go of Rachel. That was terrible, that was. I thought, whoa, what's going on? But I spun at quite a speed, to try and have a look at it.
And Rachel forgot to let go of my hand.
Yeah.
So I went off at speed as well.
Yeah,
and
that might not be quite like that. I might have pulled her, she might have pulled you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you know what it is, you try to be dead fast to react and everything in case you see something, catch something or whatever and stuff. But it was really, it was an really odd moment. It definitely went with thought. There's no way that was natural. Not in a million years. No.
So other than the cat balls, what type of equipment did you all manage to use?
Oh, there's all different ones. We had the REM pods.
Yeah.
We had motion sensors.
Yeah.
We had dowsing rods. We had mel meter.
The first two that you mentioned, can you remember about what happened with those? The sensors and the REM pod. Can you remember what happened with them?
Yeah. The REM pod just would not pick up.
Yeah. Because I walked over that and it should have gone off and it didn't. But I touched it and it was working.
Yeah.
And the sensors?
And the sensors kept on going off.
Yeah. They weren't sensing. Yeah, I think brand new batteries, Martin, because when I went to pick Martin up or join Martin, whatever, he goes, everything's charged up, brand new batteries and everything. And that but and they were working because he tested them and they were working, but they just kept going off. Turning off, sorry, not going off as in, Yeah. And we knew that, of course, because at one point there's a little, I don't really know what that, I need to have a look actually and have a look at what that little area is that dropped away that I went into. Because after we sort of stopped for a minute, I went down there, Rachel followed me and she said, "Are you all right?" And I went, "No, I'd drawn into here as if something had moved down here." And I walked to the wall and I thought, hang on a minute, why hadn't the sensor gone off? And it was at that point we realised that sensor had gone off that we'd left facing inwards into this little alcove area about 8 foot by 8 foot, I think. Will would agree with me, getting to nod. About 8 foot by 8 foot, I think, and the sensor had gone off. And I know them sensors are supposed to work quite well because they're the type that you sort of put in the corner of your house, out of the room, and they'll reach sort of like about as far as that, if not further, because they're designed for that. But they'd gone off or turned off or gone to sleep. It was, and they all did it as well. It was really odd, very odd. And we know they were still working because later on tested them, didn't he? Yeah, that really awful noise. We'd have known if they'd gone off. God, what an high-pitched noise. But
and Will mentioned that he was getting quite a lot of spikes on the mel meter where there couldn't be anything. So that's all stuff.
Good evening, Steve from Oklahoma.
Good evening.
Hi, Steve.
Welcome. We're just discussing our finds on Sunday night's investigation, just going over it a little bit.
Yeah.
But basically everything other than the REM pod went off at some point.
Yeah. I did notice one thing. I use the Vox app, which obviously is supposed to pick up not the one that uses the words, the one that picks up that was giving us. I can never remember what it's a version of a geoport, isn't it? The one that I've got that throws words at you, that's affected by the magnetic field and then gives you words. That never went off once when I used it. Never once, no words. I've never, ever in using that in the last 4 or 5 months ever known it do that. I did not get one response with that. No words, like nothing come through. Really odd. Really odd. I've never seen that ever. Not in, like I say, I've been using it about 5-6 months. But obviously we got a response from the Vox app, I call it, and I think it's a geoport. I'm sure it's the right one. Because Will was what was Will use? He was used the mel meter and his SLS camera. I can't remember what else he used.
Tascam.
That was it. Yeah, another record. So that's really interesting that because we had 2 recorders going, so that'll be really good. Because at one point, if you want to send me the file, I'll have a put with it with mine, and if you want my file, I'll send it to you. You can have a listen, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, we've got 2 verifiable sources. No,
but yeah, it was very strange, very eerie. And that was light. It wasn't in the dark when we first started.
Yeah.
We got there at 8, so we could just get things set up.
Yeah, it was dusk.
And even as we were setting up, we were getting readings straight away.
You know when you was getting quite the strong readings, and you was getting the strong responses, and then obviously we had the incident with Martin. Can you remember what happened around you at all with the birds?
Yeah, they flew at me.
Yeah, the bats, loads of them. I don't know if Rachel might have caught that on video, but it'd be hard to spot even at night. But because I mean, obviously it was dusk, and I mean, yeah, they do that. But at that point, I'm telling you now, at that point, no, there was one flew round, one shot off. There was about 4 or 5 all at once around us, and it was they weren't there before. And once, obviously, Martin had the episode and started coughing, they'd gone. Now, obviously, bats work through sonic. I wonder if they was attracted with something, energy, because obviously they bounce sonar. I forget this the right way around. They bounce. Yeah. I wonder if it not antagonised them or anything, daft like some weird horror film thing. But yeah, if they were drawn, you get it, don't you, with them horror films where but yeah, because there was a bit of a moment that was.
Because I had to duck at one point, or it would have hit me.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a crow. But one of them was a crow to start with. Remember the crow diving on us? Yeah.
That was the crow that came over me. And I was like, it's huge.
Yeah, because I said something about that was a crow, not a bat. And then Will said about it being a crow, it was definitely a crow and something. And then we got the bats. And it was like, whoa, hang on a minute here and stuff. And then they just disappeared. That was it. They all went and sat in the trees.
But if you noticed, I mean, I know that they make a lot of noise at night before they go to their nest.
Yeah.
But it was like something startled them.
I do think with the bats, and I'm trying to remember, because a lot of people, there's still this misnomer about bats being blind, and they're not. They do actually have a certain amount of sight. But also they use the sonar, which they bounce out to know where they're going when they're moving fast, because they constantly bounce out a sonar. Please tell me if I got this wrong. And obviously they'll know quickly to fly away from something. But they definitely was. I've not seen bats for ages, actually. And we just got them, the crow and then a few bats, and they were there. They were around us. There was definitely... To be honest with you, it would be a great scripted, like I say, it'd be a great scripted moment in a horror movie. It was an odd occurrence. Yeah.
And
I remember you ducking.
And all the stuff that happened that night, that was the only thing that really got me to duck down.
Yeah.
Was that.
Yeah. The bottle startled me because it was so close right behind me here.
And such a noise as well. And
I can't replicate that thud. I know the ground's quite solid, but it was grass. And it's like I say, I've got a bottle that's the same size, and I tried it, and it's not the same.
Yeah,
it was a proper.
It was like someone threw it down in a tantrum.
Yeah, actually, do you know what? To be honest with you, I was going to say that. Do you know what? I just felt like somebody then, whack, hit the floor. And it wasn't even like that. It was a proper, I can't even do it. It was a proper thud. Yeah.
And then the cat balls went off again as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was when I remembered to thump. Martin's going, don't hurt your hand, I think it was. And I'm going, don't hurt my hand, I'm fine. I'm trying to prove here that we can make them, and they wouldn't have it. That one would not go off. it was great proof that something was affecting that cat ball, because I
we were putting our hand
Sorry,
over the top,
yeah,
down the sides.
yeah, yeah, nothing, absolutely nothing. And then when you were talking, it was definitely responding to you as well. I've got that somewhere on video. You can tell because we've sort of like asked a couple of questions, didn't really get an answer. Then you're talking, and it's off, and you can see it responding and stopping and starting, and that. Do you know what I mean? So there's a good bit of evidence that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The energy at times was so different as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was like
It's been a long day.
it was like different eras.
Yeah. Yeah. To be fair, for quite a while, I felt quite calm and at home. That's just strange. I know it's a strange thing to say. I actually felt quite really calm.
Maybe you've had a past life there.
No, maybe. I felt this, or maybe it's just that whole, obviously we discussed personally and stuff about Scotland and stuff. That whole castle, that whole area, that sort of, I don't know what it's called, that aura around that sort of place. Because this is where I've discussed with you about doing Thornton Abbey, and it's obviously the only at the outside. It's the same there. I love being sat there. So maybe that is a thing, which for me, I felt at the castle really, really in control on a personal level, investigating, because I felt everything around me, and I felt quite, listening to everything and the feeling of everything and stuff. So, but then. Yeah, maybe I just wasn't the person to be affected, because obviously it's a bit around too.
I don't know if the water there, but I did get the feeling that there was a few people had passed from the water.
Yeah.
So, because we got a few names we couldn't take, I don't want to say them on air because we don't know who we'd come across it.
Because obviously the water's there where the moat was. Looks like a pond. It's not. It's where the moat was. Do you want to? I'm not how sure. Obviously, when we went up, I sort of said, should we stay out of the area where Martin had the most effect? Do you want to discuss going in there?
Oh, that was definitely an experience with energy.
Yeah.
There's an energy there that doesn't respect anyone.
Yeah. Is that in that place? That sort of I've got to be honest. I'm hoping I didn't say this to you at the time. That little area there. Did you get an impression of what you thought that area? Because it's like an area with a tower but lower. Did you get what was your impression of what that was? Because obviously I've not seen on a map what all the different areas are.
I was more concerned. I just felt that was an area where in this energy that I got felt comfortable. It was his stomping ground.
I've always had the opinion it was. Sorry, you broke up. So say it again, Wendy.
I do feel that it was something to do with the running of the castle.
Yeah, I get the weirdest of feelings. It was, I don't know, not maybe like a holding cell, or there was something went on there, and somebody was in there not very nice, either treating people not very nice or just not, the nasty boss.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But like one step over the nasty boss.
Yeah.
On a whole different scale.
Yeah.
Whole different scale. He treated women like objects.
Yeah.
They had no rights.
The voices and the argument.
Yeah, they had no rights.
Yeah.
He felt entitled.
He didn't like you. If
He
that's the
didn't
same
like
person,
me.
not like you being there. He didn't like
No.
your authoritative nature whatsoever.
No, and he didn't like Martin.
No. And I mean, I don't know how you feel about discussing that. I mean, we've got our feelings. Now, I actually Googled this, and we were saying that there wouldn't have been anybody. I know Martin wouldn't mind me saying this. There wouldn't have been anybody of brown skin. That's how he describes himself. But that's not true, actually. You would be surprised how far back there would be.
Yeah,
But
well,
they
well,
would have been
I said
slaves.
that.
Yeah, there would have been slaves. There would have been lower class. I absolutely, yeah, and that's how he felt. I think I'm sure I remember Martin saying that's how he felt. You know,
Yeah,
he valued would be the word I would use. He felt, yeah, definitely not. There was a weird thing to say, but we definitely had a racist spirit, absolutely, and
yeah.
sexist because he didn't like you neither.
No, especially where he was going.
Yeah, misogynist, is that the word?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, God, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
And he was so entitled. I mean, I wanted to tell him to.
Yeah. I got that. I got the impression.
Yeah, I think I did on like "Don't touch me" there, because
Yeah.
that's one thing I don't like.
Yeah. See, I
Alive or dead.
think the bottle bit, that was I've had enough of you. I will not deal with you. You will, and I spat his dummy out literally.
Yeah,
Did one because I don't know about you. I tried to go back over the night and it did that the bottle. It wasn't the end of it, but do you feel like it kind of it broke it?
yeah. It
It
off a
stopped
bit.
it. It was done.
It was like I'm not doing this anymore if I'm not center of attention.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, we went to Martin when he was coughing.
Yeah. It was like he'd done his job. He'd made his mark, especially with Martin, and then it was not a good moment. That, and obviously it's not a good feeling for Martin. I discussed talking about it going home and getting, when we got back and stuff, because really I sat and had a drink with Martin, obviously, before I went home after we got back to his, and he kept saying to me, him and his partner just kept saying to me, are you all right? Are you all right? And I couldn't describe it to him. I've not done it because I've not had a chance to speak to him, but obviously I really calm. I came home and had a wonderful night's sleep. I felt so calm after coming away from there. Now, whether it was,
I had all the bad juju with me.
yeah, probably. Yeah, well, to be fair, it did feel like because of the bottle and somebody being, literally defeated, knowing that they're not going to win and they're not going to have that, they're not having their moment and they can't do it. The tantrum is almost like the energy had gone. You had just,
because I wasn't allowing them to beat us, to intimidate us, and to stand up to them.
Yeah, strange thing to have to do, isn't it, after hundreds of years?
Yeah, but I mean, even just me being Scottish, that was another level of like he thought he had dominance over me, and he was sadly mistaken.
I think Will can verify this. My history is not always brilliant, but that would have been the thing as well, because in those days you would have been. He would probably think, apart from the witch thing, I'm also assuming that he would think you was like a pig. Is it the pigs? I'm sure that's what they from north of the border.
Yeah, picked.
Yeah, and that's what he would associate you with and so you were, oh God, you was a cave, but you were nothing. Yeah, you was, I can't remember the proper name, but yeah, that was the time. Yeah, you would have been. So, to be honest with you, I could hear the voice of him right now, thinking the audacity of having that. you know, how dare you come into my realm, and you low life and scum and this, that, and the other. That's pretty much what I bet he was thinking.
2 seconds, guys. I've just got to go off for a minute.
Okay.
It sounds like y'all had a very interesting investigation.
Yeah,
It's good when you can actually get information like right off the bat like that.
It was very powerful. Yeah, it wasn't waiting around. We was sort of setting up with different bits in some areas, because I remember at one point I even tried to. I moved a cat ball between Martin and Wendy and the rest of us, just to see if we could. Just something was moving around past us, and we didn't even get that. It wasn't. Whether it didn't want to come between us or the energy was too strong between Wendy and Martin, it wouldn't do anything. It was there it was definitely the one on the wall all the time, the same one. It was giving us that. So yeah, it was I've never seen them work quite so well, to be honest with you. I'm really pleased.
Yeah, it was quite awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, it was brilliant. You know, trying to think of anything else. What else we had? I know we had a lot of. I sort of, obviously, because I'd gone off and come back with Will with his SLS camera. I think Will was really impressed with the way that he was getting some flickers of shapes, but he was moving around, and the shapes, because a lot of people complain about the SLS cameras the way they work, because they go because they're trying to make a shape from an object that's there, but you don't get that object if you move around. It's different, and not that, you know, you'd have to look at a ball for something to be the same, but Will was still getting those figures, and he was getting different size figures as well, as if there was, like I say, the marketplace thing was what he reminds me of. And that I know because we was across the other side, he was getting 1 or 2 figures as well in places. That was when he'd walked across to me, Wendy.
Sorry, Will was just reminding me that as I was speaking at one point about what I was seeing, like with someone getting their throat slit.
Oh yeah, the picture.
Oh
yeah,
like I was sleeping and I got my throat slit. That's what I actually said.
Now you said that, and I wasn't there. Correct?
Yeah.
Me and Will wasn't there. Right, I don't know if you can see this, Kathleen. At the moment that conversation Wendy was having, and I believe Rachel was recording then, and you can tell we weren't there. I'm not sure you're going to see this, because I came back when you said, because you said it again, didn't you? And I was sort of stood there. If you could have seen my face was like,
right?
No, wait, hey, no. So I did say to you, did I? Just describe that again. And after she did, because where I use the app that generates the pictures, you said sort of it's that way on over there, but it was where we'd been. I don't know if you can get this, but I got that, which is the side of the bed with bloodstains on it. Now I got that at roughly the same time as Wendy was first describing that sort of thing. We weren't there then, I don't think.
I said I was asleep in bed and I got my throat slit.
There you go. Me and Will was across the other side. Is that the right time frame? We was somewhere else.
Yeah, I was speaking it as you were getting that.
Yeah, there you go. And obviously I came across, you said something about it, and I went, what? Eh? And then obviously flicked that, showed you that. So
it was just so mad. But then also Martin was getting so many answers on his dowsing rods. They were going absolutely mad. Yeah. I mean, I think Martin was really brave to go back again.
Yeah, it was.
After what happened.
Absolutely. It was. It'd have taken and to be affected again as well. But I know he'll probably want to go back again, because I know he don't want to. He won't let it defeat him. So,
oh no, he didn't let it defeat him this time. He was really amazing down in that bad bit.
The fact he faces fears is always good.
Yeah.
He had a
That's
bad
it.
experience the first time, but he didn't let that stop him. I admire him for that.
Yeah, definitely.
It takes a lot after something like
110%.
that happens to go back to a place.
When you know that there's something there that doesn't want to leave you, so to speak.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Because I felt it the whole way home, even though I'd closed down and I had said, you're not allowed to follow anyone home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was almost like a psychic hangover
Mm.
that stayed with me for the night.
It was a little bit. It was a little bit like we was all teetotal, and you made up for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, which is good of you. Thank you. I'm going to say actually, like right now, live. Thank you very much, because you suffered, and like I say, I was as calm as anything. Really, I was surprised. Well, with what I think what got Martin the most, you will probably have to ask him this when you speak to him next. Was as when we got back and was sat in the coffee. I think he was expecting me to be more excited and full of it, but I was dead calm. Dead calm. Just felt validated. Maybe I don't know. I felt dead calm, and right now here and now in front of Kathleen and anybody else that watches this, thank you, because I do believe that you took the close, everything else that went on, and the power that you have, the energy that you take away, and the closing when you close it down, it feels closed down. It feels you've shut. I've just the end book closed. It's gone, and I actually felt that. So thank you, Wendy.
oh, no problem. I enjoy what I do.
Yeah,
Um,
still got to be difficult though.
and it's good for me to get validation as well.
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of the time people can say, oh, well, mediums are fake, psychics are fake.
It's difficult to prove it, isn't it? The thing is, but then I've seen proof of different things, so
Yeah.
Right.
I'm on your side.
But yeah, it was one of the weirdest nights. The energy did affect me for a little while afterwards. It was, as I say, a psychic hangover, but nothing that a good night's sleep and meeting something else just as horrible the next day.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, okay. That's not a double whammy. That's not very good, Wendy.
I know, but after that, I actually felt okay.
Yeah. Oh, good. So
I
I have to
felt
worry about people out with it
that
being empathic stuff.
but that's the thing.
It's a
we handled the investigation calmly and okay, we had a few, we're only human. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Just let go hands next time, Bob.
That's it. I'll try and remember. Maybe next time, because I enjoy part of the investigation. If we do the human pendulum, I'll stay and I'll do some recording and stuff and get look for evidence. Then I'll say pulling everybody over because I'm quite strong. Yeah,
it was funny though. I mean, sometimes raising the energy
it was, but
like
I felt awful
that.
afterwards. I'll tell you.
Yeah. But I mean, it was quite funny because, as you say, I honestly felt when that bottle was thrown that it was as a tantrum.
Yeah, I get that
Because
as
he
well.
wasn't getting we weren't scared of him. Martin and I were not scared of him. We were a team.
That's
it.
Good.
And no one was hurting my little brother, so to speak.
I get asked a lot about, aren't you scared doing stuff like that? No, No, not at all. So I've said to you before, I was born up in the middle of nowhere, brought up in the middle of nowhere. So it doesn't, the outside doesn't scare me, and that's doesn't, you know what I mean? So
I'm more scared. I'm more scared of the living than I am the dead.
oh my God, yeah. They do, yeah, they can do more damage. Yeah, God Almighty, no, that's not a true word being said. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But I can't wait to show Kathleen all the evidence that we got, especially if we've got the cat balls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I'm
Rachel
looking forward to
recorded
seeing
at
it.
the time, and I'm pretty sure I recorded like it was doing it. Trying to remember what I used to.
Bob was convinced at the time that I think you were convinced more that they were going off because of vibration or something like that.
Didn't wonder about that, but obviously the strike. What clinched it for me was the moment that you. This is the thing that I didn't want to put the word here live. I didn't want to put the words in your mouth. I was what conviction. Obviously, being well, we're all supposed to be skeptical. It was the moment you started asking questions, and you went, "Can you stop? Stop." Asked another question. Get an answer. Can you stop? Stop. Yeah, and I've seen it. I've watched back over it, and you can, yeah, you can see it with. So, but yeah. So yeah, that was the point for me. I'm like, yeah, this is this whether it's the strength of you doing it or the combined, because obviously Martin was getting as a bit as well, but probably you were getting more because said person, whoever it was probably just offended by you. So you was getting it, you was targeted, I think, and that. So
That's always the
how
way.
how dare you talk to me, woman?
Yeah.
Literally, yeah. I think that's how it was.
That's how it was, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Don't you dare speak to me like that!"
Yeah, no,
And the cat ball
absolutely.
would go off.
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, he was very sure of himself. Whoever,
Yeah,
because he wouldn't give me his name. All I got was that he was of a certain religion. I'm not going to go into religion here because it's not the time or the place.
nice now.
And that his was the only way forward. Yeah.
Well, we do get that, don't we? With it's another. I work with a person who questions sort of like not so much his faith, but why is there so many and that, and you know what I mean. And even it's that's the thing, isn't it? Back then, the world was a smaller place. There was
More fear, more superstition.
Yeah, what was it? I'm trying to remember the sequence of questions now Will asked. And it was...
It was timeline.
Sorry?
It was like parliamentarian.
Parliamentarian. What can Will tell us what sort of era that is?
17th century.
17th century.
Yeah. So quite a way back, the world was a smaller place then, a lot smaller. So yeah, I think about it at the time and afterwards and Googled it a little bit and stuff. So I got, got an idea, and then I got an idea of the world around it and what we were looking at and how it sounded. But yeah, no, definitely.
And I think what the worst part was, right, was this was my second attempt to get there.
Yeah. I told you before. I still think your first attempt at getting there, you was as the world. The world's a different place, paranormal with it's paranormal, psychically, whatever. And you was interfered with. You was stopped from going there. There's a completely different frame of thought that I've had that I've discussed with Martin. I'll not discuss it here. It'd be a good thing for another live. Sometime it's a bit of I know when I talked to him about this, it blew his mind a little bit. So it's not something I'm going into right now, and it's just a belief I've got, and it does fit in with everything that goes on that we do, and it's just something I've gone over the years, over how I feel over the years, and it does, you get that sort of. I do believe that the first time you was stopped from coming.
Yeah, definitely.
Time, not a chance.
Yeah, I just pray next time they don't damage my car because I can't afford to replace it again.
No, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, I do honestly, because I mean, I know people will say, "Oh, yeah, but it's just coincidence and stuff like that." But depending how you believe the universe works, there's a lot of you can always put stuff down to numbers and the way things work. And I don't think we quite understand the maths that in a want of an explaining how the way the universe works and stuff, but you know how equations would work, but literally the equations of the universe. And I do get that I do think that kind of falls it into place a little bit, that certain things just it's not a thing for now, but yeah, there's more to it, a lot more to it. But yeah, people are, I mean, in reality though, if you think about it, just a bit of food for thought, there's got to be some truth in that about numbers in the universe, because let's face it, that's how the lottery works. If you just look at it at base value, that is how the lottery works. Look at it, most of the time when somebody wins the lottery, it's because their sequence of numbers fitted into place, and so they win a load of money. So if you just take that, that's how that sequence of numbers, if you like, works for everything else. We all have a roll of the dice. It's how weirdly enough, I'm gonna go geek on you now. This is outside Dungeons and Dragons at work for anybody else that listens, watches this. Dungeons and Dragons is like that. You roll a bunch of dice, depending what you get on your base characters and stuff and everything else. Is that how those numbers affect what happens next in the story? And I think that's part of life. I'm pretty sure that's how they figured it, and it's based around life. Yeah, we all describe it differently.
The roll of the dice also determines which way you're going to go.
Yeah. And I think the universe just rolls the dice all the time. Yeah.
If you go down that road, you're going to be good. If you go down this other road, it's going to end up with you getting karma.
Yeah. But it looks like that where we all think that we sort of die after a certain amount of years, the roll of the dice stops. I'm not sure it does.
No.
No, the roll of the dice. But then if you like you saying, like I remember the conversation with Gary Fields and everybody and that, whereby, you know, we live a lot of lives, and I know you've gone into it a little bit, Wendy. Yeah. We live different lives and stuff. That's maybe why, because the roll of the dice says what you become next. Unless you are, if you like, I don't think it's quite. I don't know how you feel about this, Wendy. Like you've got the character that was not very nice there at Bolingbroke Castle.
Yeah.
Do you think then that his, I can't think what the right word be, his aura has gone on to be another character, but a good character, like yin and yang? I think what I'm trying to say is, are you always evil?
No, I think you get a chance to redeem your soul.
Yeah.
But he's definitely not there yet.
No.
It's been lovely chatting. I need to go, unfortunately. I will see you all later.
Yeah, I was just going to close.
Yeah.
I just think
we just got to baby home from the hospital, so
yeah. It's a good conversation for another time. Sorry, Kathleen.
And I will see you all soon.
Yeah.
See you later, Kathleen.
And I will send all the evidence, Kathleen.
Yeah. We'll have to get it put up on our little Yeah, I'm looking at the time and thinking to myself and thinking, this is not a conversation I want to get into right now. So try and explain it quick, because it's another part, something else we could talk about one evening, to be honest with you.
We should do that next week then.
Yeah, because I have had people sort of say to me, so how do do we just live once, and that we can't live once, and if we live once, we don't live once. Why don't we come back? Oh my God, does reincarnation work? And then you think, whoa, calm down. You've just
takes us on to so many more levels.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good. I think it's something we should follow. This is an interesting bunch of topics of conversation we can go into, isn't it? Yeah.
And if we can work out the subtleties of getting all the evidence online. Just watch our pages, LSS,
Yeah.
PARAUNITY Network,
Lovely.
and watch for the live chats that we'll be doing on a Tuesday night at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And just a little reminder that on Sunday we have the fun day at Northcotes. Yeah, so
North
try
Coast.
and come along. It'll be a good day. And let's celebrate a new era in British history.
Yeah. That's it as well. Yeah. That's it.
So wishing you all a good week, and we'll all catch up with you next week.
Yeah. And from me too. Good night to everybody.
Night.
No.